Now I'm going to go back about 20 some years to the year 2002. And at that time, I was working for a company that was near an airport. And I happened to work along a guy who was an airline mechanic, and he had gotten laid off after the 9/11 tragedy. Now, if you ever had a fear of flying, just spending 5 minutes, a 5-minute conversation with this guy, he will put your mind at ease once he explained all the safety mechanisms and safety backups in airplanes. Now, whenever I hear a plane or get on a plane, I often think of this guy. And many times when we would be on lunch break or break and we were outside, if a plane flew over, just by listening to the engine, the sound, the pitch of the plane, he could tell you what engine it was, what plane it was, and the likely airline carrier. And many times he would hear a roar and he would say those engines are Rolls-Royce, and that's an Airbus A380. That's likely a UPS. And I would look up and we hear a roar. Sure enough, it would be a UPS plane. And he would do the same for any plane just by hearing the pitch. He would say, that's likely going to be an American Airlines. And he would tell you what plane, and you would look up, and sure enough, that's what it would be. And I was amazed, along with other coworkers. And this guy, he was never wrong. Maybe out of 100 or 200 guesses, he was right every single time. Now, the job that we were working at was minuscule compared to what this guy did in his past. And I remember he would always complain that America was going downhill. Now, I didn't too much follow the economy back then like I do now, but everything he said back then makes sense and resonates in my mind a lot. Now, he got laid off and explained that the airlines were now having their jets, their planes, serviced in Mexico. And he explained it by saying planes go through a routine maintenance. And if a jet comes up on their routine maintenance date, that plane is flown into Mexico, and Mexican workers will work on that plane. And then that plane, once it's finished and fixed, it will be flown back into the United States. And all this is done because the labor is cheaper in Mexico. Now, I'm not saying that the workers there have less skill than my old coworker, but this guy had a skill, in my opinion, that will be hard to compete with. And to have him doing something other than working on an airplane, to me, it doesn't make sense. And that's where we are here in America. We have people who have the skills to do certain trades, and they're damn good at it. But their jobs are being yanked away from them and are being sent to other countries simply because the labor is cheap. Now, you have top executives of these companies. They're still making top salary. In fact, many of these, once they ship jobs overseas, they get a bonus. And Americans are left out to dry. And in my opinion, no one is going to have more care, more focus, more devotion on keeping Americans safe than Americans. We've seen the debacle of Boeing, of how they outsource engineering jobs to India, and that entire debacle has came back and bitten them in the behind. And in fact, it's actually bitten the workers, because the workers are the ones who are now suffering. Those executives, the top executives that were at Boeing, they're long gone. They're selling their yachts in St. Bart's. Meanwhile, half of the public is scared to get on one of their planes simply because they only wanted to pay engineers $9 an hour in India. And I'm seeing this across every industry, across every sector in the United States. If the jobs are not physically outsourced somewhere else, they're bringing in foreigners on visas to do these jobs here. And that's boxing out more Americans. And it's got to be frustrating. A brain surgeon, an airline mechanic doing trivial jobs and probably making 50 to 70% less than what they were is an absolute gut punch. What does that do to your mind psychologically? And America's in a bad spot, and it seems like the corporate greed is ratcheting up. The diabolicalness of Wall Street continues to march up, and more boots are being put on the necks of the common public, the common man. And we're just going down a dark path here in America. Now, if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.